Well, all right, Brian Weedeye, one of the big focal points of the marketing of NBA 2K16 is the Spike Lee story, Living the Dream, which centers around a new way to experience my career. For NBA 2K fans, my career for the last couple of years has had a story element to it. It's had cutscenes, it's had characters and people that you interact with, and it's been over the course of your entire career. We didn't really know what we were getting this year until NBA 2K16 came out with MyCareer Mode. I can tell you this, Brian Weedeye, I absolutely love it. And we're going to go through some of the reasons that I love it.
Okay.
I've actually finished the whole thing. And I did it over the course of 3 days. I've been working on the review. And there's typically two ways that you can go with this kind of stuff when you're working on on an important review in a very short amount of time. You can either hate everything or you can love everything. And I loved it. I'm going to get into a bunch of the reasons why I loved it. I'm going to get your initial reaction to playing the Spike Lee joint.
So I like what they tried to do here, right? It's more of a story. It's more of a movie that you're really playing a role inside of, right? So the production value is better. They obviously put a lot more money into it this year, bringing in Spike Lee with the motion capture and the voice acting is much better. But I mean, within 2 minutes, I was already cringing at the dialogue and some of the storylines and the whole frequency vibrations thing that you're stuck with, no matter you swap in your character, no matter what you change your name to, you're still referred to that way. And then they stress this twins thing like over and over. I don't know why it was so important for Spike Lee to establish that the main character has a twin, but when you're swapping in somebody else's character, it doesn't always fit right. But they keep bringing it up like over and over, like fraternal twins. We're twins. We share the same blood. Like it just over and over. It's kind of awkward, but also everyone's kind of a caricature. Now these are not, it can still be fun, kind of in the story kind of way, despite all these things that I'm bringing up. What stands out more to me though, in the early stages, at least through the first year of your NBA career, is that the actual games, they have no stakes. Whether it's the high school or college or the NBA. Once you get to the NBA, the only thing the games do is earn you VC. What happens in the games really has no effect on the story. And same in the high school and same in college. None of that mattered. They really de-emphasize the actual playing part, and it becomes just a movie. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty sure that's what you like about it. And I think that's fine. I liked it in Fight Night Champion too. But there's definitely, I think, people who would rather connect on a, performance on the court, and there's weird disconnect between. They're talking about you like you're a superstar already established, that you're pretty much at the top of the game, but in your rookie season, you're coming off the bench and probably averaging like 8 points a game. So it doesn't really mesh to me, but I really like the idea, the concept of it all. And I think if they do a new story every year and put this much work into it, it's going to be a lot of fun in the years ahead.
So I don't necessarily disagree with any of the things that you've said, but I feel completely differently about a lot of them. And I didn't feel this way at first, by the way. It wasn't until I finished the story and then I got past it, because that's the way that it works. You get past it, and then you get into a different section of the MyCareer Mode, that I really kind of stepped back and said, you know what? Actually, like, so many different things I want to say. The first thing I want to say is, one of the reasons that I love the Spike Lee story, the movie, the film, whatever we want to call it, one of the reasons I love it so much is that the rest of NBA 2K16 is so great. If it weren't the case, I wouldn't feel that way. If I want to play the most vibrant and alive game of 5-on-5 basketball, or if I want to really get online and play against somebody with my friends, like NBA 2K16 has that in spades. So if I'm looking for some really great basketball, it's all over the place in NBA 2K16. Basketball, the actual on-court gameplay is completely tangential to the movie. I'm going to call it the movie. And by the way, in case anybody's wondering if we're going to spoil this, not going to spoil the story. We're going to spoil the structure a bit, but we're not going to spoil the story. So much of the basketball is tangential to it. And once you sort of realize that, or if you let yourself realize that and just enjoy it, and then, like you said, it's almost just like a movie that you're watching, or you're sort of participating, but you're sort of not. But again, the fact that the rest of NBA 2K16 is so spectacular has put me in a different place thinking about this. So that's number one. You know, you mentioned it too. This is not a halfway thing. This whole movie that they've created they've gone all the way with it. They have clearly spent a lot of time writing it. They've spent a lot of time, I don't know if filming isn't the right word, but clearly the motion capture technology and stuff. I mean, they really went all the way. And it's very impressive. Like when you watch the characters speak, you can really see emotion. You can really see the power of the technology that they use. Now, you may think that the conversations at times are corny or whatever, and yeah, sure they are. But another thing that I like a lot about this, Brian Weeda, is that even with some of the stuff going on, there's a genuine niceness to this mode. This is not a heavy, gritty, foul language filled thing with all sorts of stuff, because you can get that everywhere in video games these days. There's some rough edges, and there's certainly some things that happen over the course of the story. A couple of different things happen. I was like, whoa. But again, there's sort of an undercurrent of this just has sweetness, might not be the right term, but there's a genuine niceness to a lot of this.
I think I would agree in some respects, especially as far as relating to the main character. When you compare it to 2K14 and 2K15, much easier to relate to the main character. Now, the characters around him, like the scumbag owner and the scumbag agent.
Now, I don't think either of those guys are scumbags. I think those guys are really fun. How is the owner a scumbag? The dude is like, get your act together, man, or otherwise you're not going to be playing on my team.
It's the way he talked to him. If you go back and watch that scene again, the way he talked to him and some of the things he said were pretty, I don't know, demeaning.
Okay, I'm with you. There was a couple things that he said. There were definitely a couple of things that he said. You're right about that. Scumbag isn't the right term. I think
he's a billionaire. He thinks he can say whatever he wants, Rich.
Yeah, well, you know what? When you own a team, that gives you certain rights to say certain things and certain rights not to say other things.
It just didn't seem like a conversation that those two people would have actually had.
You couldn't see Mark Cuban having a conversation like that with somebody on his team?
Not in the way he talked to him, right? I think he would have been more of a personal touch to that, more of a delicate touch to that than some.
Okay. That's fair.
There's some offensive stuff in there, probably.
You're right. I mean, okay, all right.
That was my perception of it. Was they were trying to make that owner look like a bad guy?
Yeah, I mean, scumbag versus not the best guy. To me, there's a difference there. Yeah. I found it interesting just the how that guy would cut to the chase. With how he felt about stuff. I thought that was and the agent. To me, the agent again, he's not a scumbag. He's an agent, right? But
maybe a little over the top.
Yeah, of course it's over the top. Everything is over the top. If it's not over the top, then what's the point, right? You got like a 3 or 4 hour story arc. If all of the characters, I mean, you're telling me Vic Van Leer isn't over the top?
Oh yeah, the only one who's not might be his sister, right? His twin sister, and I guess the parents or whatever, but they're pretty secondary to the main ones. But yeah it's obviously playing it up for drama.
Of course. Another thing that I loved about this, Brian, is they did exactly what I was hoping they would do. And if you remember when this first came out, we had this exact conversation. What I wanted them to do was shrink this experience so that I could experience the story over the course of a few hours, not over the course of some interminable 15-year career, right?
Yeah.
And so after, 3.5 to 4 hours, credits roll on the film part. Now your career continues, and rather interestingly as well, but the film part is finished. I love that. Again, I just, that's what I asked for. It's what I was hoping for, and that's what we got. I thought that was fantastic. So having said that, yes, there's all sorts of things that people will potentially have issues with, right? I mean, there's a whole laundry list. Things like you said, how the games don't matter, and the high school games, that they're so short, right? And at one point I had to restart my career. And so the first time I went through and played my high school games, I was dominating. I was getting all sorts of points. The second time, I'm just like, you know what? I was so angry that I had lost my save. I just let my guy just stay there. And I got recruited the same way. And it was all the same. The second time, however, though, my draft stock was definitely lower when I didn't participate in the college. I really like the college atmosphere. I thought that's fantastic. I mean, if that doesn't make you want college hoops 2K, 17, nothing is going to. And yes, there was, the whole notion, and again, this is a minor spoiler, okay? When you play in the college national championship, you play at your team's home gym, not even in like an arena. That's a thing that people, I could see having a huge problem with. I can see people having issues with the dialogue, how it's not realistic, or, the story being corny. I can see all of that. But again, the way that and another thing, how the amount of time between when he joins the NBA and when he gets to be a free agent, doesn't match with the real world. So there's all sorts of those kinds of things. Then of course the humorous thing of, if I scan my face, right, I'm a white guy, and now I'm a white guy in a African American family. To me, that's funny. That's fine. Who cares?
No,
It's okay, but I have heard and seen complaints of people, it's terrible. You should have the choice of the kind of family you want. No, not at all.
I don't even think it's terrible. I think it's kind of amusing too. But but what amuses me even more is just how much they stress that twins thing.
You're right.
They didn't have to. I mean, if they didn't bring that up, I could have just said, okay, I was adopted, and that's cool, whatever, and that's fine. But then they're like, oh, yeah, they were in the womb together. I mean, it goes that far to literally say they were in the womb together, and Frequency Vibrations is the one who was kicking, and that's why he's got his name.
Yep. Again, silly, over the top, but I'm glad that they went for it. I'm glad that they just said, this is the vision. This is what we're doing. We're going for it. I like that so much better than if they had tried to be 25 different things to 25 different kinds of people. Totally fine with all that. A couple other things too. There were a couple of scenes later on in the story where I was genuinely impressed. I was impressed with the writing. I was impressed with technology. There's a scene where Frequency Vibrations and Vic are driving in New York City, and it's an extended scene. There's several scenes that are like 7 to 10 minutes long. They're driving, and Frequency is, rapping along with the song that's on the radio, Vic is rapping to a song that's on the radio, and Frequency is just driving. And for a couple of minutes, they're just the looks on their faces, the happiness, the fun that they were having. I was impressed by that. It was a really cool moment. And that scene goes 3 or 4 different directions, which I found to be I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I didn't see that coming. And then there's another scene later around, for his free agency involving his whole family, where I thought it was really well done. So, again, my whole thing is, because the rest of NBA 2K16 is so good at what it does, and because the vision for this, they picked it up, they ran with it, and they just said, we're doing it this way. I am all in on the story. I'm cool with everything. I loved it, Brian.
Well, no, I can't make any complaints about it either, because it is so different from everything else. It's just one of the many ways to experience the game. And there's so many other ways to play NBA 2K16. So I'm like, I think of it that way. It's like, okay, here's certain things about it that, don't work for me, but it's still fun to play through. And it's such a defining experience on its own. but then you can go and play more traditional ways. And it's really just a testament to how much is in 2K16. Because as I said on Twitter, as far as I can tell, and I've looked over all the features and everything for this game, it might be the strongest feature set of any sports game ever, as long as everything works.
As I wrote for Games Radar, it is the most ambitious sports game I've ever played. And so far, it's delivered on all of its ambition. We're in day one, right? There's plenty of other time.
You may be watching or listening later on, so hopefully that's held up.
Yeah.
But as
and if it doesn't, then we'll talk about it, right? It's only been one day, and it's actually a really smart thing that they did was to have this pre-release so that they could sort of roll people into the servers instead of the huge bang, So I think that was a smart thing they did, but we'll talk about that on another day. So you're just to sort of summarize it from my point, yes, I know it's more like watching a movie. You don't have a lot of choice, or really any choice in stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But I love the fact at the end of the day that, this is just one of the reasons that NBA 2K has become what it has become. They are doing something that no one else is doing. They took a risk. They went for it. And I'm so happy that this is a thing that exists. I love it. Corniness and all. I think it's great, and I'm just happy they've done it. And I hope they do something else different next year. I don't necessarily need another story, although if it's an interesting story, I'll take it. I just love the fact that they have the freedom to do this kind of stuff. I think it's great for sports games. I think it's great for people who might buy this game and only play it. This will be their way to experience an NBA 2K game that they might not. So just a whole bunch of good, Brian. Nothing but good.
Yeah, and I would say what this also does is raises the bar for the other sports games.
Absolutely.
And so that's only a positive thing, because we just got off talking about FIFA 16, and this is a game that sells worldwide about twice as much as NBA 2K, which would be 2K would be number 2.
Yep.
But FIFA doesn't do this kind of stuff. They
do the opposite. They stay right in their lane, and they deliver what their customers know that they want, and they stay right in their lane. And I'm not going to say that's the wrong thing to do, right? If the results are there, then that's fine. But as a consumer, you're unsatisfied with it. As a consumer, I'm not nearly as excited about FIFA 16 as I am about NBA 2K16, because NBA 2K16 is doing what no other game is doing by doing things like this Spike Lee story mode.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult as a consumer to know what are reasonable expectations. And what you have here with 2K16 is it's showing you that so much more can be done when an effort and an investment is made in those areas. And they packed in things that appeal to everyone. And one of the issues with the likes of Madden in the past has been that they try to cater to everyone, but it just creates kind of a lukewarm product all around. But what they're doing here in 2K16 is excelling in every one of these areas, which is really remarkable.
So cheers to Spike Lee. Cheers to NBA 2K16. You may love it, you may not, but just the fact that they made this happen, I think, is a fantastic thing.